Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about a more accessible way to rest. So I always have this question with resting of what does that mean? Is it that we have to be lying on the couch and doing absolutely nothing, or moving really slow in everything that we do? Does reading mean resting, or doing our art forms, playing the piano or instrument? And what really is rest? And you could think about it, well, reading a book is rest in one context, but if we're studying for a course at the university or for our job, it does not feel like rest. Or playing our musical instrument may feel like rest on a rainy day where we're just doing it for enjoyment. But if we're a concert pianist and it's our job and it's a part of our work, it might not feel like rest. And so it came up with this kind of question of, it doesn't have as much to do with what we are doing as much as with how we are approaching it. And if this is kind of the way to engage with rest, then could we engage with it in more settings than just these ones that are labeled restful activities? If it's more of a mentality, a mindset, and an approach to what we are doing, then could we bring rest into our lives no matter what we're doing through our day? And then asking ourselves, what would that look like? And this came up for me because I am getting over a cold and thinking about, are you resting enough with this cold, or does that mean you take time out? And how hard it is for so many of us to take that rest. And when I, mention to people that I have a cold, and they say, who has time to be sick? And if we don't even have time to be sick, then who has time to rest? And in our busy lives, it feels like none of us do. And we can't put down our jobs. We can't put down being a mother or taking care of our households or our dogs. And it's like so different than when you were a child and you got sick and you get to just sit on the couch and watch movies and mom brings you soup. And that feels very nourishing at that time. And so as we build our lives and our busyness and things keep piling on, it's like we might not have the same opportunity we had when we were kids to just sit on that couch and turn on the television. We may still have to be moving through our days and doing the things that keep our lives moving forward. And so, where's the room for the rest and the recuperation? So this is where we think more about that concept of making it a mindset. Whereas instead of saying it means that I'm just sitting on the couch and watching a movie or turning my mind completely off, well, what mentality do we engage with when we're resting? One, there's no pressure on us. There's no urgency. We don't feel like we have to perform to perfection. There's kind of a lightening up of the pressure on our lives, the expectation. And sometimes, as we're kids, or what we've been programmed for, is the only time that happens for us is if we're on vacation or we're like laid up and just blobs on a couch. But what if we brought that mentality and took it out of those contexts and said, well, if that mindset of having so much urgency, of like, I have to get this done, it has to be in a certain way, and we relaxed that a little bit. So we're still moving through our everyday lives, we're still doing the things that keep life flowing, but we're not doing it with that agitation, that edge, that feeling like it's so dire, and the negative mindset that I have to do this and it's forced and I'm begrudging it. So it's the same concept of like the pianist who's a concert pianist and who maybe sometimes has to practice like super long hours and gets sick of it and it feels like a job, versus the pianist who goes in and it's taking care of yourself, it's an enjoyment. And so playing around with this and saying, can we feel that for more of what we're doing? So that if we're walking the dog or letting him out to go to the bathroom, we have to be with him out there. It's not a burden or a suck away from the, finite feeling of time that we have in our lives, but that it's a moment we get to spend in the sunshine, or we get to observe our garden, or we get to just take a pause and breathe. Or when we're doing the dishes, we don't look at it begrudgingly, thinking in our head the whole time, why does this always fall on me? There's so many dishes. People don't put their dishes away. They don't reuse their cups. This is unrestful engagement in this activity. Versus, I'm washing the dishes and I bring that restful mindset to that activity. This is my opportunity to just be with myself and enjoying this warm, sudsy water on my hands and watching the satisfaction of this dish coming clean and noticing the new buds on these cacti that I have in my window, or how the window sun is shining in through the window. This just took an unrestful activity and made it a restful moment for you. Running errands, and we're driving around town trying to get to every place super quick, feels very unrestful. And this is because within us there's an urgency, there's an irritation that we have to do it. We may be aggravated with the drivers around us. We feel that limitation of time once again. But if we took that experience and said, bring my restful mindset to it, when we get that red light, it's not urgency, this is keeping me back from the next thing, it's relief. I get a break to breathe 3 times. I can pause here. Or as we're driving, instead of just focusing on the next task, we're observing the birds that flew overhead or the new buds on the trees. And so we're bringing rest into the way we approach everyday life. And then rest does not become this inaccessible commodity that we're all limited on access to, that we can't get enough of. It becomes a choice in how we engage with everyday life. Can we engage with this restfully? And I think this ties into those stress states that are so detrimental to us, that deplete our immune system, they fatigue us. And that restful mindset, that taking away the urgency, the irritation, the agitation, moves us back into that parasympathetic rest and recuperate. So that even as we're moving through our day, we're not doing so in this heightened stress state, where it's making us feel more and more like we're being depleted and then craving rest more and then feeling irritated that we can't get it because we don't have time. But if we're not building layer upon layer of that stressful mentality, that stressful state in the body, we're not feeling like rest is something inaccessible that we cannot cram into our busy day. And all of a sudden, rest becomes an accessible mindset that we can all engage with at any time. So I invite you this week to play around with your concept of rest and where you are expecting that you should be able to experience it. And maybe playing around with experiencing that mindset in different situations and not needing to alter your schedule so much or cram it in to be able to feel its benefits. If you enjoy these teachings and would like to join us for group sessions or individual coaching, you can find us at newleafmindfulness.com. You can find these teachings and many more in my book, Living from the Heart, Healing Ourselves So We Can Heal the World. You can find that anywhere you get your audio or print content. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.